Whenever you have this notation, f parentheses -2, let's highlight that. Notice x was in parentheses here. In other words, you're just changing x's to -2's. And that's what we're going to replace here and here in this equation. So let's go ahead and use the calculator. It starts off with a 3, and then when you change a letter to a number, just put it in parentheses. So -2. And then this one has a squared. We'll use that x squared button on the outside of the parenthesis. And then plus 12 times x, changing to -2 again. And finally, minus 4. So enter -16, and that's the final for this one. But what if you have to do it without a calculator? Well, we could do this by hand. You just need PEMDAS, the order of operations. So we'll do the exponent first. Okay, -2 squared, that's -2 times -2, that'll be a positive 4. But then you could do 12 times -2 in the middle, and that'll give -24 there. Keep going, 3 times 4, 12 in the front, drop everything else down. And then 12 minus 24, -12. And finally, -12 minus 4, that's another way to get -16 here. So if we have to, we could do it by hand, but obviously the calculator is a great way for that. Okay, another style that you could see. Solve this when x is -4. But again, we know we're replacing these x's with -4s, so let's do that here. Okay, 2 parentheses, -4 this time, but it's also squared. And then minus 3 parentheses, 1 minus, x is changing -4 one more time. And boom. So 17, and that's all for this guy. A surprising amount of math is just that, plugging in numbers for letters and then simplifying it down. But one final style that you could see, which is the value of x when f of x is equal to 4. But when they write it this way, the 4 is hanging out by itself at the end. That's actually the final answer. So which of these answers, when we plug them in here, is going to give us 4? But the fastest way to do it is using the table button, so let's see that. It's right next to clear, and then we'll go ahead and clear that out. We've got a fraction, we'll use the n over d button, and then it starts with x squared, so we'll do x, and then the squared right above it, plus 4. Then sneak down one more x down there, and there we have it. Then you just keep hitting enter till you get to a table. It just plugged in all these numbers all at once. But again, finding the answer is 4, that's going to be on the right side. But then that happens when x is 2, so that's our final for this one. So that table button, a huge time saver, and we could have used it for this one or for this one as well. Okay, I hope you feel a lot better with functions. Here's a video on PEMDAS if you want some more practice with these types. And here's a video on substitutions for more practice with these ones, plus some word problems as well. Okay, let me know what questions you run into. We'll see you in the next video. Toodles.